welcome to or back to Growth Rising. I'm Bird, and on this channel, we talk about all things dealing with astrology. And so we've been talking about the Mercury placements, and today we're going to be speaking about Sagittarius. So if you have Mercury in Sagittarius, you are most likely born with your sun in Capricorn, Sagittarius, or Scorpio. And so if you don't know the placement of your Mercury, you can go to Google, type in free birth chart calculator, or like go to astroseek.com and type in your birth date, time, and place, and you'll be able to see your birth chart, which is a picture of the sky when you were born. Okay, so if you have Mercury in Sagittarius, you are a forever student. You're always trying to find out the meaning of life. You are like, there has to be a deeper meaning to whatever it is that just happened. There's not always, such a deeper meaning, but to you, there may be. You can be a very optimistic person. Um, Warm and enthusiastic is the way that people may be able to see you if you do have this placement. And Mercury does not exactly like to be in Sagittarius. Like, Mercury is still going to do what it has to do, but you know, Sagittarius is more about the big picture, and Mercury is more focused on like details. So, with this placement, it's like sometimes you may not be able to see the forest for the trees. Like, you'll get focused in on one tree, and then that tree becomes your big picture instead of actually seeing the forest that's filled with so many little trees. Well, so many trees. Um, so that's just one thing about it. But also pay attention to your Jupiter, because if your Jupiter is happy, there's nothing holding your Jupiter back. So Jupiter is able to work freely. So your Sagittarius will be able to work freely. So that will limit the struggle with Mercury. Um, but like, let's say if your Jupiter is in a place where it does not necessarily like to be in, then that's going to give your Sagittarius a little bit more of a little pushback, which will give Mercury a little bit more of a pushback. So, you don't want to, be, so focused on one tree and then try to beat everyone over the head with that one tree. So, just throwing that on out there. But do keep in mind, whether the planet likes to be in a particular sign or not, that planet is going to do what it has to do. You might just, have to find your own rhythm and getting whatever said across, or finding out the best way for you to learn, or what, however you like to communicate things. So just want to go ahead and put that on out there. You can be a very playful and cheerful person. um you don't take things too seriously. um Even if you have a Capricorn sun, you may be able to still communicate with people, in a light manner, to where it's not so overbearing or so heavy. You can have light conversations still, and you can possibly like attention. You don't mind the spotlight being on you. You don't mind everybody looking at you, because for one, Sagittarius is big and bold, and that's you don't mind all the attention. And you can also love to think about the future. The future, like daydreaming about the future, is something that you could do on a regular basis. Whether it's about next week or 5 years from now or tomorrow, whatever it is, it's the future, and that's where you like to live at in your head. But don't forget to live in the present so that you can actually get to whatever future you're trying to get to. Hopefully it's a good one. But yeah, so don't forget about the present, even though you can very well like to live in the future. You can be a very open-minded person and do not mind trying new things at least once, maybe even twice. But it's not like you're the type of person who will be, um, you know how some people are like, we didn't do that when I was growing up. I'm not going to do it now. That's not you. You'll be more likely of the person who'll be like, mm, okay, I guess I can give it a try. Especially if, your sun sign is not necessarily, um, well, if your sun sign is in Capricorn, Capricorns might like to stick to what they're comfortable with, but with that Mercury and Sagittarius, you might be a bit more comfortable with trying something new or, trying something different, which is essentially the same thing. But anyway, um, and like I was saying, don't get stuck on one thing because Mercury and Sagittarius likes to learn. That's something that Mercury and Sagittarius have in common. It's just that they like to learn in two different ways. Mercury likes the detail, Sagittarius like the big picture. So like when I was saying don't get focused on one tree and beat everybody else up with on upside the head with it, it's like if you get stuck on one idea, you know how they say there's like more than one way to like skin a cat type thing. Like let's say you get stuck on one idea and you think that now this is the best idea or the only idea, and now you're just trying to force that upon everyone else. Do not get lost in that. Because then people are going to be like, I cannot talk to this person without them thinking that, A equals L. And I'm telling them they can also go through A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K before they get to the L. Just, I know that was probably a weird example, but that was the first one that came to mind. So just don't get stuck on one thing, even though you are very open minded, because most likely whatever you got stuck on is something new. But that's more of the shadow side, I guess you would say, about Mercury and Sagittarius is if you get stuck on something, now it's like this is the only true thing. This is the only real thing. Now everything else, falls back and it doesn't even matter. No, do not fall into that pattern. Also you could possibly want to understand everything. Everything that you're learning about, you want to understand every single thing. Well, a lot. Maybe not everything, but you do want to understand a lot because Jupiter is very expansive. So, as much as you can, you want to know. And you can also be someone with a good sense of humor, somebody who can laugh with people and make jokes and be quick and witty. But also, do not over exaggerate because, like I said, Jupiter is big, Sagittarius is big. And so you don't want to over exaggerate. Like you could be somebody who would say, um, yeah, it was like the rain was coming down so hard outside. I honestly thought I was going to be, it was going to flood outside. And it's like the rain wasn't even that hard. You don't want to over exaggerate, even though it might be something that you can easily do, but just don't take things too far. I mean, sometimes it's okay. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes it's okay. Like, let's say if your friend looks nice and so you're like boosting her head up or his head up, whoever head up, and you're like, you know what? Oh my goodness, I promise you, whenever you step outside, all heads about to turn towards you because you gonna steal the spotlight tonight. Like, if it's the guy, you could probably be like Michael B. Jordan, who? Or Chloe Bailey, who? Just because it's like you are over exaggerating and hyping your friend up, unless they don't like that type of thing. But I'm just saying, in those examples, just be careful of which one you use because you don't want to always over exaggerate because people are just gonna be like, you know what, I can't really listen to you about certain stuff because you're not the most reliable person. But yeah. Sorry about that little ramble. But yeah, so if you do have your Mercury in Sagittarius, let me know what all you resonated with and if there's anything that you feel like I left out. Thank you for watching.